After living in Canterbury for 10 years, we've now moved area. We've moved to East Sussex. And this is our new house. I say new, obviously it's not new. It's a 1980s bungalow. It's pretty solidly built. It's got more holes than Swiss cheese though. So with brilliant timing, Topdon have sent me this. This is a thermal camera. And with a thermal camera, I can plug this into my phone and walk around the house and see if there are any dodgy cold spots, any air coming in. I can see there's air coming in, and spiders, actually. My daughter's not happy about that. So first I'll give you a very, very quick tour of an incredibly messy house, and then we'll see how this works. If you've clicked on this video, you probably want to see about the thermal camera, not my house. So members will get a director's cut of this video where I go into far more detail about the house. But for now, let's do a little quick tour. Please excuse the mess. I've done this when my wife is out of the house because she would not have been happy. Squeaky door. It's one job down, another 100 to go. So we're in the entrance hall. This is a 3-bed bungalow with 2 toilets. There's one room, there's another there. I'm really doing the quickest tour I can possibly do. All looking very cozy and inviting, but do look at the windows. So the windows do need some work. You can see they're pretty old LED style windows. There's a bath shower room and there's a toilet in there. Here's the lounge. We've got a log burner, although I don't know if we're going to use that very much. The girls want to, but I don't. There's a conservatory. I'll show you that in a minute. Here's the kitchen and the dining room. But here's the pièce de résistance. And not the conservatory with a roof that leaks. It's an enormous pond. It's about 9 meters long. So big, in fact, that we've just bought a boat. We have a couple of ducks, resident ducks, and we're looking forward to seeing the ducklings. Getting back to the topic, let's have a look at the Topdon thermal camera. This is the USB-C version, so I got this one because my phone is USB-C. You can get a Lightning version as well. This one is for iOS, but you can get them for Android as well, of course. So when you get a thermal imaging camera, the most important thing, above all else, is to film your pets, family members. And if you don't have any pets, then just film someone else's pets. That's the most important thing. You've got to get that out of the way before you do anything else. So here's a dog, here's a chicken, here's another chicken. There's poor Strawberry. Oh God, look at that. That's terrifying, isn't it? She's molting at the moment and she's having a really bad time of it. And you see she's puffing up her feathers to try and retain some heat. Poor thing. Luckily we got that out of the way. Terrifying. First we're going to do the unboxing, and then we're going to start playing with it, which is obviously the fun part. So as I said, this is the iOS one for USB-C, so the newer iPhones. There it is, there's the box. So let's see what's in the box. Now Topdon is a make I've heard of before because I've got a battery tester, a 12-volt battery tester, which is Topdon, and that was always very good. So open the box and you get this neat little carry case. I can get the thing open. Which is lovely, and then inside there we've got some instructions and a QR code and all that sort of stuff. So this is obviously the interesting bit, so let's open this up and see what's inside. There you have it. Polishing cloth, that's very neat. And some pretty high quality feeling cables, actually, a bit braided. Oh, that's actually a Lightning adapter then. So it's a USB-C to Lightning adapter if you do have an old iPhone, so that's good. And also a USB-C extender by the looks of it as well. And of course a lovely cloth there, cleaning cloth. But this is the important bit. There it is. And this, as you may guess, plugs into the bottom of the iPhone. Okay, so I've got my iPhone. So App Store, and search for top infrared. I'm going to plug this into the bottom. Hopefully it fits with this case. Is that going to be an issue, do we think? No, look at that, perfect. If we go to top infrared, and then I'll click on wired device, and then enable thermal imaging. And now we can see me and the camera. You can see it does this calibrating thing occasionally, and you hear a little click, click. Here's the camera then, and you've got take photo or you've got video. And you can click this little button here and you get other options. So you've got a timer mode if you want to do a timer like any other photo app. You've got a timer, manual aperture, automatic, and also you can unmute yourself as well if you do want to talk while you're walking around, which is actually really useful. If I click on this one down here, you see we've got full image selected, that's the default. You've also got dot, line and plane. If I just click this and do that, you can see that it's showing you the temperature readings just inside this area. And of course you can do the same with line if you want. As many dots as you want, so that's really good. We can go delete and have back to nothing at all, but I'll go to full image. If we click this here, you'll see we've got this dual light. So that means I can drag that around at the same time as recording this. And of course, if I want to just put that down there, I can. So that's dual light mode. There's also transparency. Obviously, I can make that a little bit lower if I want. And I can zoom in as well. And that's about as small as that goes. So that's very neat. If I click here, you've got lots of different modes. That's the default one, but you can select the one you most like. And in fact, the one that's most like Predator. And then you've got all these other things that you can do, like rotate and contrast, high temperature alarms and that kind of thing. That's all really useful. So I imagine you could just set this up if you wanted to, and perhaps set an alarm if something got too hot. Clearly lots of options on here. And then here you can see you've got two options for temperature modes. This is minus 20 to 150 degrees Celsius and 150 to 550 degrees. So obviously you're going to be normal most of the time. So that's a quick look of the options here. If I go back here, you do have some more options down here. You've got temperature monitoring, house detection, vehicle detection. Now, the manual is not good, so I don't really understand all about this. But if you click up, you see it says coil. If you click up there, look at that, you can select all these different things. Heated mirrors, heated seats. If I click heated seats, 20 to 50 degrees Celsius. So it's almost like a bunch of preset settings, really, that you can walk around and make sure that everything is working correctly. Exhaust manifold, let's see what that temperature says. Exhaust manifold, 200 to 400 degrees Celsius. So that seems really good. I don't understand much about this. You can even generate reports in here. If you get a report, then you create an account, which I haven't done. But you can make reports in here as well. If you were walking around and making a report of a house or something, you wanted to send it to someone, you could do that with report. And then you've got all the other stuff that you would want. I mean, temperature unit, I should mention, of course, I'm talking about Celsius all the time, but you can change it to Fahrenheit. What I probably want to do is turn it around that way. So it's a bit easier, so my hand doesn't risk covering up the lens. So you can see that the brick wall behind me, that's 18.5. The chair where I was sat is 20.8. And if I look around here, it's very neat. You can see that the point in the middle is obviously telling me what that is, but you can also see what the temperature range is here. So that's going from 18.3 up to 21.3. Let's try and find some areas of the house where maybe there's some cold air coming through. You can see the cold spot there is 12 something on the... Well, in fact, you can see just how awful that is around the edge of the conservatory. That's something we do have to sort out, actually. If I enable that mode, yep, got that. You can see here it's actually a little bit damp, this. So I'm not sure this conservatory was built very well. The conservatory there, look, you can see the big gap. That's going to be terrible in winter. So that's something else that we've really got to sort out. One of the worst areas in the house, I think, is probably going to be the toilet. Now, you can obviously see that that's cold because that's obviously full of water. But if I look at the back here, you'll see the amount of coldness there. That's a weird little warm part, isn't it, then? Comparatively warm. But you'll see that that's a very cold back wall, isn't it? Just looking in the lounge then, you can see the log burner there. And that's just a pretty cold piece of slate down there. Just by looking around, we can see if there are any areas we need to sort out. Certainly the moment we start looking at the conservatory, you can see all that glass. Look how inefficient that is. Look how much heat that's letting out. But even on the top here of the house, I mean, that's very, very cold, isn't it? Look, in the corners there. Here there was a roof repair a long time ago. It's a little bit bumpy. I don't know whether there was a leak a while back, but you can see that there's a variation of temperature there, which implies, I think, that it's probably not very well insulated at that point. It's hours of fun, this. I say fun, it's an expensive fun, isn't it? Because you walk around finding things in your house you need to sort out. So I don't know whether you can see, but that there is pretty poor. You see the inside of that frame for the top of the window. So that's something that we're going to have to sort out. But even if I just look around here, this is obviously an outside wall. I mean, it's not too bad, actually. That's not too bad, is it? That's an interior wall. That's not much worse. So it's not awful. There's a steel beam, I guess, that goes through there. There's a bit of a massive cold spot there, though. Look at that. In here we've got the water tank. If I just move this out of the way. So let's see. Now you can see that the pipes have a little bit of lagging on them, but the pipes show that they're quite warm. The tank itself is not too bad, is it? And in fact, I suppose that's a good sign, because you don't want it to be too hot on the outside. So yeah, it's a good way of finding out just how well insulated your water tank is, isn't it? So if we just go outside, my wife and daughter have just returned it being an electric car. There's no engine, so there's no inefficient heat loss going on under there. We have these bay windows at the front of the house, and they're on these kind of wooden structures sticking out. But I don't know whether you can see that, but there's quite rotten. It's quite rotten there. So much so that you can see that it's actually quite warm where that's cracked. But of course, if that's showing as warm on the outside, that means it's going to be cold on the inside. So if we go into the bedroom here, you can see that the coldest spot is in that corner, which I just showed you from the outside where it's rotten. Topdon say that this is a high resolution thermal camera, and at 256 by 192 it does seem pretty good actually. My old FLIR camera was 160 by 120, so this is clearly much better, and it's obvious looking at them side by side that this has a better resolution, so that's really good. In terms of temperature readings, it's quite impressive. It goes from -20 all the way up to 550 degrees Celsius. Again, my old FLIR went up to 400 degrees Celsius. Obviously, most people are never going to need a temperature reading that hot, But, you know, if you're melting aluminium at home, then I suppose this is going to be more useful than the FLIR, for instance. This one I've got is iOS compatible. You'll see that it is USB-C. You would think that you could just plug this into Android or an iPhone and it would just work, but it doesn't for some reason. I'm not sure why. So you'll see that this has made for iPhone and iPad written on it. So it does mean that this device needs to be with iOS. Bit of a shame if you had Android and iPhone in the same house and you wanted to use it on both. It looks like, I haven't tested it, but it looks like that might not be possible. There is also a version for the Lightning port if you have one of the older iPhones. So these are great fun. I know fun is not the intended application for this, but I find it great fun. I could waste a whole day, in fact I have wasted a whole day, walking around taking video and pictures of things. But it's not a waste, is it? Because if you are walking around your house and you're finding cold spots, then there are things then that you know that have to be sorted. And if you sort them, then you're saving money in the long run. So something like this is brilliant, I think, for that kind of thing. And the fact that it's just a bit addictive is just a bonus, isn't it?
Cool. Aurelia, va a vedere, corri.
65, 66 degrees.
Wow.
Is there anything else we can record? Footprints.
Gosh.
I like the fact that it doesn't have a battery in it. You plug it straight into your phone and it uses the power from the phone. Apparently it's not very much power it's drawing, but obviously it is drawing something. But for me, I just like not having yet another thing I've got to worry about charging up. I find the app pretty easy to use, even though there are loads of options that I don't know about yet. And that takes me to one of my negatives about this. One of my big negatives about this is the manual, or the non-existent manual anyway. So it says about scanning a QR code, which should go to a detailed manual, and there isn't one as far as I can tell. I scanned it and I just got the same leaflet that you get inside the packet. So I don't know whether I'm missing something here, but I couldn't find a detailed manual, and that would help because I can't relay very much information to you because I don't really understand how a lot of this works. Second negative is the cost, I suppose. So it's over £200 at the time of recording. You might be able to get discounts, and there should be a discount in the description of the video, so use that if you're interested in buying it. So you could argue it's quite a chunk of money to spend on something that's not going to be used very much around the house. So, you know, the cost is an issue. That said, it's not like I think it's bad value, because there are plenty of other cameras in the same sort of price range, and this seems to do at least the same, if not better, as them. One other issue I've got is it's stuck in portrait. I would like to be able to do landscape. So it's a minor thing, and it's more relevant really for when editing a video like this, because I've got black bars on either side every time I show any footage. But some people might prefer to use it landscape. I probably would. So that would be nice if possible. And the last thing I would say, probably the most annoying thing, is perhaps the calibration. So when you are walking around, it will just freeze and go click, click, and it will do whatever it has to do. I don't know what it's doing, to be honest. I don't think it's focusing. I think it's a fixed focal length. So it must just be calibrating quite a lot. So it's a bit annoying, but you get used to it. And I think lots of other thermal cameras do the same thing. My old FLIR that I keep mentioning, that did it a lot as well. So it might just be one of those things you have to put up with a lot of these cameras. So that's it. That's the end of my review. That's my experience with the Topdon TC002C. And I would say overall, yeah, I'm really impressed with it. I think it's really good. Now, I'm just an idiot walking around with this, not knowing what I'm doing. There are serious things that this can help diagnose. So water leaks is obviously one thing, but also with electrics. So an electrician might be able to use something like this and find out if there's a circuit that's being overloaded or something like that. So that's potentially really useful. So I'd love to know if you've had one of these and you've found faults that needed fixing or something like that. Do let me know in the comments. It's a pretty cool little gadget, I think. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you've got any questions or anything else you want me to test, then let me know in the comments. If you want to become a member, then we'd be eternally grateful for supporting the channel in that way. So go to the link at the bottom of the screen, or press join if you see it in your YouTube app, and you won't see it on iOS apparently, which loads of people have told me about. So anyway, thank you very much, and bye for now.